Hello friends, welcome to the cloud world. Today we'll talk about Azure Virtual Network Peering. Virtual network peering allows communication between two different virtual networks. As we all know, within the virtual networks, you can have multiple subnets, and the virtual machines between the subnets can communicate to each other. If you have two different virtual network or VNets, for the communication to be established between two. So once you enable virtual network peering, what it does, it establishes a connectivity between the two, and the entire communication between the two VNets is carried uh, on the Microsoft internal backbone, and it does not go via any uh, internet gateway or a virtual network gateway. Okay, the advantage with this or the benefit is with that is that uh, it will provide you a low latency, high bandwidth connectivity. Okay, and once we have the VNet peering enabled, the communication between the virtual machines in those VNets will happen locally on the local backbone of Microsoft infrastructure. And VNet peering can be established within the between two virtual networks within the same region, or using global VNet peering, you can have connectivity between the VNets across regions as well. Okay, so in this video, we'll cover a demo on how to create virtual network peering. Okay, so what we need to have for the labs is we need to have two virtual networks and at least one virtual machine in each VNet. We'll go ahead and configure, establish connectivity between the two VNets and see how the communication happens. So let's go ahead and log into the Azure subscription and have. Okay, so in this lab we already have a virtual network created. Additionally, I will go ahead and create one more VNet as we require for completing the demo. I'll name it as demo VNet 1, and I will the IP address space as 10.0.0.0/16. Free subscription. I will create an additional resource group mentioning as demo RG2. Click OK. I'm having it in the same region, and the address space as 1.0/24. I click on create. Okay, so we have our second virtual network created. We'll go ahead and provision a virtual machine in this VNet. So along with this, we have the subnet as well. We'll provision a VM inside this. I name it as demo VM3 in the same region. We don't require any availability set in this region. Okay, let me create one. Okay, I'll leave the rest of the settings default. Make sure you provision the second VNet and the subnet of the VNet as well. Okay, I go ahead and say next. For demo, we don't require boot diagnostics, so I click say no, and it will run a validation check and say create. While the VM is getting provision, I'll pause the video. Okay, so we have our virtual machine provision up and running. I'll click on the virtual machines just to check the networking properties. Okay, I'll allow RDP connection just to take the RDP of the machine on the private IP address 1.4. Okay, port 3389. Is the public IP address. I'll take the RDP of that server. Okay, here we go. So it allows to access. I'll just log in and quickly check. Okay, so we are able to log in. What we need to check is whether the two virtual machines, which are part of two different virtual network or VNets, are able to talk to each other or not. The best option is to ping each other, but since the firewalls are enabled, we won't be able to ping. I'll just give a ping to 10.10.1.4. This will not work because the firewall might not allow. So we can go ahead and disable the firewall, or simply you can go ahead and take an RDP over a private IP, which it will not work. Okay, it's not working. Okay, this is perfectly fine. So from nowhere we are able to take the RDP of the machines. Okay, I'll go ahead and disable the firewall just for the lab purpose. Ping 10.0.1.4. Similarly, I will disable the firewall on the other virtual machine as well. Even after disabling the firewall, the communication would not start because here we need to configure VNet peering between the two virtual networks. Okay, so I'll minimize the window and we'll go back to the screen. Okay, on the Azure portal. Okay, here we go, and now we need to configure the VNet peering. Okay, I click on VNet 1. Okay, go to the peerings tab under settings. There's no peering configured. I click on add. Okay, peered network VNet 1 to 2. Okay, the deployment model is resource managed, so we'll keep as is within the free trial subscription. Here it is asking for with whom you want to peer with, right? So I'm going to select VNet 2. It says VNet cannot be paired with the cell. It has to be the peered network in uh, the different network. Okay, I click OK. Okay, so we have created the peering bit from VNet 1 to VNet 2. Similarly, we'll have to create a peering from VNet 2 to VNet 1. So if you look at the peering status as initiated, It has still not converged. The reason because we don't have a peering from 2 to 1. So I'll go to VNet 2, click on peer, and I'll add a peering network here. This is peering from VNet 2 to 1. Okay, I select VNet 1 and click OK. Okay, the moment the second peer network gets created, or you when you create a peering between the other network, the status gets converged to the connected. Okay, similarly, if you go back to the VNet 1 and check the peering status, it should be connected state. Let's go back and check the ping between the two virtual machines. Here we go. We are able to communicate between the two virtual machines which are part of two different VNets, and we are able to ping on the private network. So the communication between the two VMs is happening as if on a local LAN, and the entire communication is happening on the Microsoft backbone. I hope the demo is helpful. Thank you for watching.